All right, you've got a new FortiGate firewall. Now let's configure it. So I'm going to be testing with the 70F. It really doesn't matter which firewall you're going to be configuring. It's going to be very similar. So I start by making sure the status LED is showing as solid. I have my ISP modem connected to WAN 1, and then I have my PC connected to one of these 5 ports. Now, in some FortiGate models, there is a management port spelled MGMT. If you see this port, connect to this one instead with your PC. Your PC will be given an IP address, but then we want to be able to connect to 192.168.1.99, which I've done in this web browser. Type in admin with no password, and then change the credentials. So type in a new password here. And there we have it. Now we're in the firewall. Okay, from the main dashboard, click Network, Interfaces, and let's click WAN 1. So if your ISP provides IP addresses via DHCP, you should see something show up here. In my case, I want to manually configure a static IP. And click OK. I know what my ISP modem's IP address is, so I'm going to do a quick test here and just make sure I can ping it. 1.1 is the ISP modem. Okay, so that's working. Next step will be to configure a static route via that ISP modem IP. So this will be 166.166.1.1. Click OK. Now let's take just a quick second to go to Dashboard, Network, Routing widget, and then let's just double check our routing table. So we have a default route via 166.166.1.1, which is the ISP modem, and then we have a couple of the connected networks. Now let's test our default route. We'll go back to the CLI, execute ping 8.8.8.8, perfect. Execute ping maybe google.ca, perfect. So DNS is working as well. Our DNS settings are configured under the network DNS section. By default, it just uses FortiGuard servers. If you want to change the DNS server that the FortiGate uses, you can click specify and change it here. Okay, so now let's look at our LAN settings. So if we go to network interfaces again, we can see that I have my PC connected to internal 1. So really any device connected to any of these 5 ports will be on this 192.168.1 network here. Now, if we click into the settings here, we can, for example, we might be able to remove a physical interface from this virtual internal interface. If we scroll down, we can see that there's a DHCP server connected. So any device that connects it up to one of these 4 ports will receive an IP within this range, right? So if we click OK here, there we go. We can see that internal 5 was removed from that internal switch, so we can use it for other purposes. Now we need a firewall policy to allow devices connected to our internal interface to be able to access the internet via our WAN 1 interface. So we go to Policy and Objects, Firewall Policy. Okay, and we can see there's already a policy that's been created. So let's just double click that. We'll just name this, Internet Access. And this is what it does though. So any traffic received on incoming interface internal, destined for outgoing interface WAN 1 from any source and any destination at any time with any protocol or port will be allowed. And then we're going to do a NAT using the outgoing interface address. So it's going to actually do the NAT with a source NAT with IP 166.166.1.2, which is our WAN 1 interface. Now just scroll down a bit here, just make sure the policy is enabled, and we'll hit OK. Now I've confirmed that I can access the internet from that PC. And another cool thing about this firewall policy is on the far right, if we look at the byte counter, this is indicating that this firewall policy is being matched. So this is a good sign that we see this incrementing. Now it's important to make sure that you've accessed support.fortinet.com and you've registered any of your serial numbers, service contract registration codes, or license certificate numbers so that you've actually added services to your FortiGate firewall. Now you can go to System FortiGuard and click Update Licenses and Definitions now from the firewall to receive those service contracts on the fly. It might still take some time for it to be recognized on the server side, but then once everything's all finalized and done, you should see that there's entitlements such as features like intrusion prevention, antivirus, web filtering, so that you can use these features now. Now, once we've confirmed those entitlements, then we can go back to Policy and Objects, Firewall Policy, and we can start configuring features on the FortiGate such as antivirus, web filter, DNS filter, IPS, and so on. So let's just configure this and go OK here. Now, for example, if I access a website that I'm not supposed to based off of the default web filter profile, we'll notice that, for example, I'm going to get blocked here, right? So the FortiGate's doing its job. Thanks for watching. For more in-depth configuration, have a look at the comprehensive guide.